So we'll talk about the various challenges in cloud governance. So what is a governance? So governance is a process by which an organization ensures that the mission and vision, the business goals, the business stakeholders' needs and conditions and options are evaluated to achieve some agreed upon objectives. That's basically, the primary definition of a governance. And we have a IT governance, we have a information governance, we have a risk management, a lot of things which is coming inside that. So we do this governance in the company based on various policies, procedures, guidelines, frameworks, and stuff like that. That means that's how we ensure that these things are properly achieved in our business. But when it comes to the cloud computing, definitely in the cloud also we cannot basically eliminate this governance part, but in fact the cloud complicates this governance even more. For example, when it comes to cloud computing, we have one more entity called as a cloud service provider, and we are depending a lot on that particular cloud service provider's premises, their data center, their employees, a lot of contractual things and a lot of factors like that. So let's discuss about some of the key challenges we are having, which we have to primarily understand and address when it comes to the cloud computing. One major challenge we are having when you go to the cloud computing is that we don't have a direct control. So if you want to enforce something, if you want to ensure there is a proper policies or procedures or guidelines or things are in place and happening properly, if we are going for a cloud platform, we don't have a proper complete visibility over that, because we are working from the, we are using the cloud or we are accessing the cloud over the internet, and at that other side where the cloud service provider data center is there, we don't have any visibility on what exactly is happening there. So we have to depend on third-party audit reports or third-party assessment reports and some contractual agreements on how they are basically handling these kind of stuff. The second thing is that obviously location. So when it comes to cloud computing, the cloud is a global offering which is available across the globe from various locations which we call as data centers, regions. Right. So when it comes to cloud computing, ensuring the proper location of deployment, storing data, and everything is a major factor to understand. For example, if there is one of your employee is deploying something on the cloud platform, and just in case if they are deploying in some other region which is non-compliant or which is non-compatible with our requirements, that can lead to a lot of challenges. So it's very important for us to clarify or have an understanding of where we are deploying, which is the legal boundary, which is the geographical location where we are deploying our data and infrastructure. The next thing is that obviously lack of visibility, which is basically there. When you go to a cloud platform, you are depending on a third party called as a cloud service provider, and you are using something called as a cloud services based on the type of cloud service you're opting, like whether it's an IaaS service or PaaS service or SaaS service. The visibility can be a challenge, because when you go to IaaS, you have a visibility at least from the Gust OS onwards. But if you go to SaaS, you are simply a consumer. So obviously what happens, the visibility is one major challenge when you go to cloud computing. The third challenge which we are having when you go to the cloud is a cost part. Even though in the on-premises we have a proper mechanisms for managing the cost, we have a proper governance mechanisms for managing the cost. When it comes to cloud computing as well, the cost must be properly and effectively managed. The reason is that in every action you are performing in the cloud is chargeable. That means that now you are going to deploy a VM that is going to charge you. Even we say the word pay as you go model. When you're deploying something and if you're using it, obviously you have to pay for it. That means I have to deploy a server with a 4 GB RAM and dual core CPU. I will pay for it. But what if I deploy some double the capacity which is not needed for me? Still I have to pay for it. So every action, everything I am doing in the cloud platform is going to charge me. So there must be a proper governance strategy in our place to make sure that we are able to deploy only the necessary things within the necessary capacity and necessary space. So if it takes more than that, obviously the cost will increase even more than what we are expecting. The next most important factor we are having is called as a resiliency. So resiliency is basically something which we talk about the dependability of a service to make sure that service is available in whatever scenarios it is. But when you go to a resiliency in the cloud platform, even though the cloud is designed to be resilient, they are having multiple data centers, they are having multiple availability zones, regions, and all these facilities are there. But still, choosing the proper service as per your business continuity requirement, choosing the proper service as per your business requirements is a key aspect when you go to cloud computing. In fact, that is one major reason why most companies fail in this cloud computing. Even they get the cost increased or even they have this lack of resiliency and all, because they are not aware of how to choose the proper services. So resilience is a very important factor in the cloud platform. The next two major important factors is what we call as a portability and interoperability. What is a portability? So it's about movement. So I want to make sure that if I'm currently going to a cloud service provider called as AWS, but due to some reason, if I need to go to another vendor, or maybe like for example, let's say I have a provider A, but due to some reason I'm not happy with the provider A, or I want to move to provider B, I must be able to do that. I must not have a dependency on one particular vendor, and I must not have a kind of a scenario where I will stuck with one vendor like a vendor lock-in. So portability is one major aspect we are having. Then we have a interoperability. So interoperability means that it's talking about more of a compatibility thing. So because in a scenario where nowadays what we do is that most companies which I have seen is not going for a single cloud. Most companies now what they do is that they go for something called as a multi-cloud architecture. The reason is because I want to select the best out of each. So for AWS, I feel this is the best thing for my business. I will take that. So for Azure, I'll go for the different thing. Like the same way, most companies now go for a multi-cloud scenario. That already complicates the governance. Plus, there is one more challenge we have called as interoperability there. We must be able to make sure that our services can communicate each other. Our infrastructure is basically compatible with each other. We must be able to use the same formats or APIs, or the compatibility must be ensured. So interoperability is also one major aspect we have to ensure when talking about the governance. And the last thing I just want to discuss in this video is called as a SLA contract. So the only legal way you can talk to the cloud service provider and to ensure that you are getting a particular level of service is basically to go for a SLA, the service level agreement. So it is something which pronounces the minimum guarantee. So you are getting the minimum assurance. Like the cloud service provider is saying that they will offer me 99.9% availability. So that 99.9% is basically the minimum they are guaranteeing. So if you don't define an SLA in the cloud platform, you cannot guarantee, or you cannot basically have any level of assurance that you are going to get the particular quality. So having a proper SLA and contractual agreement as per your business requirements, as per the proper discussion with the cloud service provider, and as per your business, you have to ensure that we have a customized SLA and contract is a major aspect in governance. In fact, if you want to take the cloud service provider to the court of law, if you want to get some penalties, if you want to get some kind of a legal fight with the vendor if something goes wrong, for all these things, SLA and contract is one major thing, or is the only thing which can basically help you with that. So even though we have a lot more challenges in cloud governance, these are the key aspect which is primarily the concern. So in the next video, we'll discuss about some more interesting topics. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.